Great day, kings and queens. Welcome to another conversation with Drew, where it's an honor, to share, my gift with you guys. It's truly a blessing to share the knowledge, the wisdom, experience of God with you guys. This is a thankful Thursday, and there's a lot to be grateful for today. And today, I want to share with you why I'm so grateful for the process. Yeah, the process. It's absolutely amazing when you understand the importance of the process. A lot of people want to talk about when they up. Everybody want to talk about when they shine, and everybody want to talk about when they on top. Very, very seldom do people want to talk about when they're on the bottom, or do they want to talk about the process. Hey, from Columbus, yeah, and so I wanted to touch on this morning. This is what came to me when I was thinking about, blessing you guys this morning, the process, and our very existence, our very life is a process. It started with the process. You say, how do you say that, Drew? No one in this earth ever said before they came to the earth, I want to come to the earth. Literally, I'm going to make myself. Nobody said that. Who of you can raise your hand or can comment and say, I made myself? I said I was ready to come to the earth. That's not a reality. It was a process. Even your parents helped and were a part of the process. Your parents, some may have planned, some may have didn't. But the reality of it is there's a lot of people out here that's having sex, that's not having babies. Why? Because you did not create you. The manufacturer, the creator, the OG, King K, Cam, what's happening? You understand me? Caused this process to take place. You and God had a conversation, before he sent you into the earth, and you said yes to this process. You said yes to this assignment. Now we're about to get this work, right? So check this out, right? The process is so amazing because the process is cultivating you. It's causing you to become the greatest version of yourself. And this is what's so amazing when you understand that, because it's like we're like seeds. We're like God's seeds, right? And if you took a seed and you laid it on top of the earth right now, and you let the sun shine directly on it. Why? Because that's what we all want. We all want to be up. We all want to be shining. We all want the light on us. But if we took a seed and we laid it on top of the earth right now and let the sun shine on it, it's going to shrivel up, wither, and die. Why? Because that seed has to go down into the dirt. It has to go down into the earth. It has to go down into the darkness where the germination process can begin. Listen to me, kings and queens. You're about to get this work today. Check it out, right? And so when a seed goes down into the earth, it starts to go through this germination process where it begins to come up out of its shell. That's what we're going through right now. We're basically coming up out of the shell of what the world has created, right? I'm telling y'all, man, y'all gonna get this work today. Y'all go ahead and put all them likes and hearts and all those things across the screen, because it's about to be good. You dig? But you go down into this dark place. So what I'm saying to you right now, what I'm saying to you right now is that what you're experiencing, what you're going through, is that germination process. If you're going through a hard time, if you're going through trials, if you're going through a struggle, if you're going through, man, something that you feel like it's about to kill you, literally, you're in the best place that you can be in. You're in the best position that you can be in. You're in the best situation that you can be in. Why? Because you're about to come up out your shell. You're literally going through the germination process. You're literally breaking through, right? Because everything we go through is a process. That's like a manufacturer when he creates a car, right? He doesn't just start with the body. He just doesn't start with the tires. He just doesn't start with the frame. He just doesn't start with the whole car completed. It's a process, kings and queens. He got to start with one thing at a time. Why? Because it's a journey. It's a process. And when you understand that, you recognize that, man, I'm the apex of God's creation. Therefore, let me go ahead and go through this process, because he's cultivating the greatest thing that's in the earth, and that's his children. So I had to you doing? You see how they try to mess it up real fast, man? They don't want y'all to get this work. I'm thinking Facebook behind this stuff. You understand me? They don't want y'all to get this work. But the process, I had to understand what I was going through, right? I had to understand that growing up without a father, growing up without a father was a process, right? Because what I had to end up learning is that, and mind you, me and my father's relationship, bang, you dig what I'm saying? We'll get to that story later. But growing up without a father, I had to understand, or come to an understanding that it was a process, because we live in a world, right, that is full of fatherless children. We live in a world that's full of young men that's out here in these streets killing each other from abandonment and guilt and resentment that they're holding in their heart from a father who was never there. We live in a world that young men and young women are joining gangs. We're living in a world where young women are having all of these babies while teenagers, because they didn't have a father to teach them how to be a great woman. We're living in a world where recidivism is at an all-time high. Why? Because the father wasn't there. So check this out. God allowed me to experience that in my process, to learn how to deal with it, to learn how to heal what needed to be healed between the relationship of my father and I, and then learn how to then go on and teach it. The process, right? But look, check this out. It's all about perception, because if perspective. If I would have continued to be angry with my dad, if I would have failed to recognize the process, if I would have continued to hold on to resentment and anger, then I wouldn't have had the moment that I had last week with my father, where we were able to forgive each other for 32 years of resentment and 32 years of guilt on his part. Therefore, now our relationship is restored, and God may bless us with another 32 years. He may bless us with another 42 years. But the reality of it is that it was a process, that God had to take me through this process for 32 years of being without a father in order to learn my purpose in the earth. The process, right? Because we're all here for a purpose. No manufacturer ever creates a product and then tries to figure out what the purpose of it is. No, the manufacturer first establishes the purpose in its mind, and then it takes it through a process to create the product. That's what I'm telling you. When you understand this, you start looking at everything that you're going through, and you begin to literally ask, what is it for? What's the reason behind it? What's the purpose behind it? But the process is making you become the best version of you. That's what's amazing about it. I'm telling you, you have to grasp this. Once you grasp it, you begin to understand that what I'm experiencing, if it's challenging, if it's pulling on me, if it's stretching me, that must mean that I'm about to be promoted, right? Because nobody is ever remembered for what they ran from. You only remember for what you overcame. The greats are remembered for what they overcame. Shout out to Dr. Miles Monroe and King Keith Camp. The greats are only remembered for what they overcame. Martin Luther King, he overcame civil rights. Martin Luther King, he overcame racism, hatred, prejudice, inequality, so forth and so on. We look at Mahatma Gandhi. You know, he overcame, being wrongfully treated. We look at Helen Keller, and we look at the people all over the country, from the Nelson Mandela's, you know what I mean, who was in prison for 27 years. We remember these people for what they overcame. We look at a LeBron James growing up without a father, growing up in the streets of Akron, growing up in death, and becoming the greatest version of himself. We look at these individuals and we see people who overcame something, and therefore that's why we tip our hats, because they had to go through a process. Understand it, kings and queens, that what you're experiencing is the process. This is where the meat is. Again, everybody wants to be shining. Everybody wants to turn up. Everybody wants to be on top. But nobody wants to go through the process. Everybody wants microwave results. No, you got to understand that if you want the best meal out there, it may take you a whole 24 hours to prepare it. You might have to go through the brining process, where you take the bucket of cold water, put some sea salt in there, some sugar in there, put some Worcestershire sauce in there, put some apple cider vinegar in there, put some lemon juice in there, to put the white meat in there, the chicken breast in there, and put some ice on top of it, cover it up, stick it in the fridge for 24 hours. It'll start breaking the meat down and tenderizing it, and then you cut the oven on 250, right? I'm telling you, I'm giving y'all this work today. You cut the oven on 250, you begin to put mustard on it, because it's an acidity in it that breaks it down. Just put a slight little glaze of mustard on it. Then you put your seasonings on it. Then you wrap it up in plastic and foil and put the lid on it and slide it in there for 2 hours. And I guarantee you'll have the most tender white meat you ever taste in your life. The process. But when you understand the process, you're willing to go through what it is that you have to endure. because you're understanding that you're the greatest version of yourself, and it's just waiting for you to come out of your shell and manifest. That's it. Your life is literally complete. It's a process. You think that God just created the seed, that he didn't create the plant? He didn't create the plant or the tree already. He already finished it. How did he know that it'd be a tree? How did he know it'd become a plant? Because he already finished the process. He just rolled it up and backed it up and then put it in the seed and said, let it have life. It's literally that simple, kings and queens. And so you, as the apex of creation, you don't think that your life is already complete? You don't think that your life is already done? You don't think that God knew that one day you would need money? You don't think that God knew one day you would need a family? You don't think that God knew one day that you would need a father? You don't think that God knew one day that you would need a mentor? You don't think that God knew one day that you would become an adult? Yes. He already knew it, and he completed the process. He said, I'm God, there's no one like me. I'm God, there's no one beside me. Why? Because I'm the only God that can set the end from the beginning. You have to understand that it's a process that you're going through and that you're experiencing. But once you embrace the process, you start recognizing that everything that I'm experiencing is only part of the journey. It's only there to help me. If you're coming out of the mud right now, that's that tree that you're looking at as you pass by your house every day. It started with the process. Those plants, it started with the process. It had to come out of the mud, but look how beautiful it is right now. Look how much oxygen it's providing to our ecosystem right now. Because you said yes before God sent you to the earth for the purpose that he was sending you here for. Y'all had a conversation at the beginning of existence, and you said yes, and he knew that in the fullness of time, right now, that you will become the best version of yourself, because all of the things that's going around in your environment is cultivating you, is preparing you, is pushing you, is priming you to go through this process to become the best version of yourself. Yeah, I know it's hard. I know it is. I know it's hard. Whether you going through a divorce, whether you just going through a breakup, whether you going through a loss of a loved one, whether you going through being fired, whether you going through having hard times with your children, whether you're going through weight issues, whether you're going through depression issues, man, I know that it's hard, but it's a process. My cousin James, he said, man, count it all joy when you go through trials, when you go through these experiences. He said, for the testing of your faith produces patience, but let patience have its perfect work. Why, Drew? Why does patience have to have its perfect work? He said, so that in the end that you're completed and perfected, lacking nothing. Meaning that I have to go through this process in order for me to learn and get the experience and have the fortitude in order to go to the next level in life. If you're in the second grade right now, you're going to be tested with the second grade material to see if you learned everything that you were supposed to learn through the course of the year in order to be promoted to the third grade. Why are you afraid of the process, kings and queens? I'm telling you, man, it's easy work. Once you begin to understand it, it's easy work. Do you have hard times? Absolutely. Are some days harder than other? Absolutely. Is the sun shining some days brighter than the other? Absolutely. But the reality of it is that this process is cultivating you to become the best version of yourself. And without this process, you will die. Try it. Put a seed on the ground right now. It'll die. Try it. Put a beautiful seed that can become an acorn tree. Put a beautiful seed that can become an apple tree. Put that right now. Put that on your dashboard of your car and just see if it'll become a tree. Try it. It'll die because it's not going through the process it was created to go through. Therefore, what you're going through or growing through is a process. Embrace it. Again, nobody wants to hear about these stories. Nobody wants to hear like I had to literally start at 300 pounds doing push-ups and sit-ups around the house, trying to build up my momentum, trying to build up the discipline, trying to build up the right mental attitude in my house. Nobody wants to hear that. Everybody wants to hear about the story about when I stepped on stage and I beat all the competitors in my first show. No, I want to talk about the process. I want to talk about the times where I was depressed and I was thinking about suicide. I want to talk about the process. I want to talk about when I was doing those push-ups and sit-ups and I was showing that I can be faithful over a few things to be made ruler over much. And my mother walked in the house with a pass to the YMCA. I want to talk about the process that when I walked into the YMCA, all I had was a few memories of some workouts, and I just began to use those memories and begin to work out, and I began to look around and see people doing things and begin to ask questions. I don't want to talk about when I stepped on stage and I beat everybody. I want to talk about the process. Why? Because the process helped me get to where I am. Therefore, if I give you the jewels of the process, it'll help you get to where you need to be in life, kings and queens. Not the memory of when I stepped on stage. We don't need to celebrate that. We need to celebrate the fact that I made it through the process. Yes, man. Y'all don't understand why it feels so good, because I understand life now. I understand that it is necessary that we are cultivated and we go through what we have to go through. We have to understand that when you're coming out of that earth, that seed, and you're breaking through that dirt for the first time and you get a little sunlight, you have to understand that you ain't even experienced the growth of bark yet. You ain't even grew a leaf yet. You haven't even grew a limb yet. And so you have to understand that it's a process. But how beautiful it is when you get your first piece of bark. How beautiful it is when you get your first limb. How beautiful it is when you get your first leaf. How beautiful it is when you start doubling up on limbs and leaves. How beautiful it is when you're covered in bark now. How beautiful it is when you produce your first piece of fruit. How beautiful it is when you produce your second piece of fruit. How beautiful it is when you're covered with bark, leaves, limbs, and fruit. How beautiful it is, kings and queens, when you start dropping fruit to the ground with has seed in it that start producing more of you. I'm telling you, the process is necessary, man. Oh, this feels so incredible today, because y'all don't recognize that the process that I'm growing through is making me come the king that I am today, and it is filling me up. Nobody's going to be able to touch me. They can't touch me now, but they ain't going to be able to touch me from 90 days from now. They're not going to be able to touch me from 6 months from now. They won't be able to touch me a year from now. Why? Because I've embraced the process. Father, send me more. Send me more. Why? Because I understand that this process is necessary. That's why I can go into any place, in any ethnos, in any nation that has to do with fitness, and be able to stand out and talk to those kings and queens with so much passion, so much truth, so much confidence, so much courage, because I embrace the process. That's why I can go into any school right now and talk to the young men about the struggles that they're going through, the abandonment that they're going through, the hurt and pain that they're trying to deal with, and then give them the solution of how to forgive in order to get to the next level, the process. Why are you running away from the process? There's some punks out there, I'll tell you that. There's some real live punks out there, I tell you that. They don't want to go through this. They just want to stand up on a stage and shine. They just want that bright light on them. They just want all the attention. They don't want to go through this process, kings and queens. But I'm telling you, the process is what saves you. Why? Because once the light dims and nobody's applauding you no more, and you're going through your hard times because you're being tested on that level, the only thing that you can stand on is the foundation of what that process built. They want to be those pretty Rickies, king. They want to be those pretty Rickies. You understand me? Yeah. They don't want to go through this process. You have to understand that life is a process. And this is the best time that you can be in. Why? Because God hears the hearts of the brokenhearted. He hears the cries and the prayers of the brokenhearted. He hears the prayers of the lowly. Man, you are in an amazing place. You're in an amazing position. What you have to start doing is begin to seek the truth now. Okay, Father, why am I going through this? Okay, what is my purpose? What is the purpose of all of this? He said, to everyone who asks shall receive. It's a law. Stop thinking that it's religious. It's not. It's a kingdom law. He sent this law into the earth to govern the earth. You have that type of authority on the earth. He gave it to humans. Humans is a spirit inside of a dirt suit. That's why Christ had to come and get into the dirt suit of Jesus. You have that type of power, kings and queens, here in the earth. But the process is what's necessary for you to become the greatest version of yourself. It's amazing when you embrace it. Stop running away from it. You think that building wanted to go through the process of having to be stacked brick by brick. You didn't think that that building saw the blueprint of itself and said, man, I'm ready to look like that. But it took a 6-month process in order for that building to become that big, beautiful monument. Understand that the process is necessary. Why? Because what if they would have forgot about the foundation and just start stacking those bricks because they was ready to hold up the sign on the building? No, the process allowed them to remember the foundation, the most important component of that building. And so then we start putting those bricks up after we laid the foundation. The process is the foundation. Stop being ready to be seen with that big bright light on your forehead to say that I'm shining and I made it. Go through the process so you understand the value of now having that sign on your forehead to say that I made it, so you will never turn back from where you are. It's protecting you. It's preparing you. It's promoting you. You hear what I'm saying? It's protecting you. It's preparing you, and it is promoting you. Let me say that one more time. It is protecting you, it is preparing you, and it is promoting you to become the best version of you. Don't run away from it. I tried it. It didn't work. It kept haunting me. I couldn't get away, y'all. I'm talking about I was dashing. You understand me? I can move for a cocky dude. I was getting up, and that bad boy kept pulling me back. You need to get this work. That's what it was saying to me. That's why I tell y'all need to get this work, because the process is so beautiful. And when you understand that, you recognize that, man, the process that you're growing through is not for you. It's for your kids. It's for your loved ones. It's for the people that you would just randomly meet and have a conversation with that'll say, man, how did you get to where you are? They don't want to just know where you are. They want to know how you got there. And that's how you begin to shed light on people's life and their dark place in order to help them to get to their light. But the process is the answer, not the light, not the stage, not the applause, not the microphone, not the money, not the limelight. It's the process. What do we talk about when we talk about Christ? We talk about the process. For those who really know what kingdom is, we talk about the process. We talk about the means that got to the end. The end is us being restored to our rightful positions in kingdom. That's the end, not the blood, not the cross. Those are the means. Let's talk about the truth. The process is what gave me this right to be standing here today talking to you with so much kingdom authority. The process. I'm telling you, that's why I'm giving so much praise and honor to the process, because I recognize that this is the reason why I can come before you kings and queens every morning boldly, confidently, and courageous. I ain't sharing with you, man, the end. This is good to celebrate the fact that me and my father got a relationship back, but let me tell you about all the things that I went through in the meantime, in between time. How I had 3 kids by 3 different women, how I attracted different STDs, how I broke so many hearts. Let me tell you about the meat of it, because the meat of it is what created me to be this king before you. Let's talk about the truth. How I fumbled a great relationship that I was just in. Let's talk about the truth, kings and queens. Let's get this work. I'm telling you. Because what you understand is that this process and the heartache that I'm dealing with right now, the broken heart that I'm dealing with right now, I can then take that and then give that to somebody else and show them how to make it through it. The process. I can take my wrongs, my flaws, the things that I did in the beginning of my relationship that caused the demise of my relationship. I can take those things and go to another king and say, king, and if you got an amazing woman right now, let me show you how to avoid destruction with this queen. Let me teach you that. Why? Because I understand that it was the process that's going to make me become the greatest husband that's ever known to man. It's the process that's going to cause me to be the greatest king that was ever known to man. I'm not saying I'm better than you, king. I'm just saying, man, we got work to do. Let's go create, not compete. Let's be the greatest kings that we can be. But I know that for myself, I have to be that. Why? Because there's generations that's coming after me that need to know what a king look like. So what I'm saying to you today, this morning, kings and queens, is that embrace your process. Again, You said yes to God when y'all had the conversation before he sent you into the earth about you fulfilling your purpose. Embrace the process so that you can fulfill it. It's already done. It's already done. A baby growing into a man is not an experiment. It's not an accident. That was already completed. Understand what I'm saying? That wasn't an experiment. It's already done. It's completed. A seed becoming a tree is not an experiment. It was completed. It was done. It was finished. And then God pushed the start button to that S550 Benz. And then it started right up. But he completed the whole Benz before he pushed the start button. Notice that. It was finished. It was complete. It went through all the tests. So before I put you out on the market, I want to take you through the process and know that you can endure anything that I put you through. Anything that'll help your purpose shine its light all over the earth. So when you understand this, kings and queens, you'll start embracing the process. You'll stop running away from it. I know you're dealing with a heavy heart, so am I. But you see, it's not stopping me from giving you all this work. I know you're dealing with depression. I know you're dealing with addiction. So I dealt with it too. I talked to a young man yesterday, a young man by the name of Ryan, and he's dealing with it. And he's trying to become the best version of himself. And I told the king, I said, man, it's a process. I ain't jump on him and say, man, you got to stop right now. Man, listen, it took me 10 years to stop smoking weed. I was digging in trash cans because I threw a $150 bag of Kush away, and I was trying to find that bad boy because I thought that I made a mistake, and I needed to go get that bag about that trash can. You understand me? I ain't talking about no house trash can. I'm talking about one of them big old dumpsters hanging over it by my belly, digging through trash bags because all the trash bags in that bad boy look the same. I'm talking about the process. I had to start flushing them bad boys because I couldn't embarrass myself like that again and be hanging over no daggone dumpster trying to get that Kush. Oh, man, I'm telling you, it's amazing. Why I laugh like this? Because it's so amazing. It's so amazing to understand that we were created to overcome. He said there's no temptation that's overtaking you that's not common to man. So what he's saying is that what you're going through is common. You ain't dealing with nothing special. He said, but God is faithful. He will not put more on you than what you can bear. That means that he built your shoulders to be tough. You can deal with the whole world. Everything that you're experiencing right now does not have more authority than I put inside of you. He said that he will make a room for escape even with the temptation. Why? Because that God that we're talking about, our Father, the OG, is that amazing. He knew that you needed these experiences to fulfill your purpose, kings and queens. Yeah, but it's the process that you needed to go through in order to grow through this experience to become the best version of yourself. Stop fighting it. Take the gloves off. Embrace it. Hug that bad boy. Love on it. And watch how God begins to reveal to you through this process. And it's going to be so amazing. You don't have to fight no more. I know you're tired. I was tired too. And I submitted unto the king. And he crowned me. And now I can go into any ethnos in any nation and speak truth. And speak life. He said, the words that I speak to you are spirit and they give you life. He endowed us with the same things. He said, if you believe on me, the things that I do, you shall do also, and even greater things shall you do. This was Christ himself giving us that work while he was here on the earth. This ain't no game. This ain't that play. This is the truth. We have that type of authority. People quote those things as scriptures. I quote those things as laws, principles, precepts. Those things were already designed and already implemented into the earth before it was even laid. So I already know that it's interwoven into the fabric of who we are. It's interwoven in the fabric of life. We have that much authority here in the earth. The reason why I'm able to sit here before you and smile, because I've gone through the process. I'm not done going through the process, but the processes that I've gone through, I smashed them. Yeah, smashed them. And I'm going to continue to smash them because I'm a king and you're a king and you're a queen and you have that much authority. Now go today and be thankful for the fact that you are going through this process and have an amazing day, kings and queens. But remember, it's not a look, it's a lifestyle, because we do this every day, not to impress people, but to leave an amazing impression on the earth. Absolutely, King. One day you will have 1 million over your head when you're speaking on this live audio, King. Man, listen, that's what I'm talking about, man. When you got kings like that in your corner, you understand me? He over there hit me with the ink swell. You dig what I'm saying? The metal code thing that they got in the corner with the boxers. He over there hitting because you know I done took a couple bruises. He over there putting the Vaseline on me. You dig what I'm saying? He prepared me to go back out there. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. He over there splashing the water on my head. He just knew I took one to the chin and got dropped. But I ain't stay down. I got back up because it's a process. And when you got those type of kings and queens in your corner, go get them type of kings and queens. Find you a King Keith Camp. You figure, deal me? I'm telling you, find you a King Keith Camp. You dig? Somebody who willing to go through the mud, which I'm supposed to cut this off, but I got to give honor to my king. You understand me? Find you a King Keith Camp. You understand me? Stop finding these commonality compadres. Find you a King Keith Camp. You dig? A purpose partner. Somebody that's willing to go through that mud with you. Somebody that's willing to sit there and watch you cry like a grown man and still give you a hug and say he love you. You understand me? One that'll pray with you. You understand me? Find you one of those, man. Find you one of those kings and queens. Find you somebody that's a real friend. We said the wounds of a friend are faithful. Why? Because they'll tell you the truth even if you don't want to hear it. He said a brother is born for adversity, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Find you one of those. Because when you're going through your process, you're going to need you one. Man, that's why I salute to you, King. I love you, King. I appreciate you, man. Kings recognize kings, man. Understand me? Have y'all a thankful Thursday. I love y'all. God bless. I'm out.